start off with a couple announcements. And then from there, we will get to our main show. So thanks for being on, guys. While I am talking, please think about your 1 or 2 words, something that you are thankful for. Okay. Remember, this is no judgment, so you don't have to say, what everybody wants to hear. It's what you really are thankful for. So this week, Mom and Mike and I know for sure, are going to do the Team Passion Coach Basics. It's, what got me, the selling point for me was that she said if you've been coaching for 5 minutes or 5 years, to jump in. And so I'm in year 3, but I can always use different ideas. And I'm really loving what Nicole Jones is doing over there. I mean, you guys have seen the Success Club graphics and the volume graphics. It's incredible. The different things that team is there. I mean, they're on fire. I'm going to probably try to jump in when I go back to work on their business activity tracker thing that they do, because the people who are turning in their business activity tracker every day on Facebook are the ones who are getting Success Club and who are making serious money. So business activity tracker, just to make sure everything's up to speed. It's just basically your daily sheet of to-dos as a coach. And it's just a way to keep you focused. Beachbody used to give you one, and I mean, I'm sure it's still there, but everybody's got their own style. And so I think they kind of pulled away from like doing that right when you signed on. But it's kind of just like a framework for you to be able to work from. I know a lot of us were talking about doing power pockets, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So you could break that apart in chunks for sure. But I'm anxious to see what this is all about. I wanted to give a couple shout outs. Congratulations, Alyssa, for her highest SC last month, 8 points. So awesome. I know she's going to crush it this month. Some things to think about. I put the promotions up for August in the banner of our coach page. So if you guys have any questions, I know like the Mace de Mas is really going to be taking off. And then we'll be finishing up with Joel in early September. And so the big goal is to make sure that we are really still working that program, being present in the challenge group as always. And then, there's always the people who fade in and fade out. So make sure you're checking in with your people. Brittany flat out called out one of her people the other day, and then he went running. So make sure that you're in touch with them. They appreciate this. They really do. Like, they roll their eyes and then they get stuff done. So make sure you're connecting with your people. I know I was talking to Mom the other day about how, sometimes other challengers are just going to connect with you. I'm like BFF on the page with, Katie, Alyssa's girl that she brought in. Brittany is, got Renee, and Michelle and her are like this, so help each other out. Nobody's snaking anybody else. Make them feel like they don't just have their coach, make sure everybody knows that they're a part of this community. I know Mike, whenever he's, jumping on with the presence of these guys, like they're just fired up, they love seeing other guys commenting in there. So really appreciate that. Okay. So I'm going to call out, what are we grateful for, Mom? You're muted.
I'm sorry. Music.
Okay, Alex.
Motivation.
Okay, Alyssa.
Starting over.
Woo, not all the way over.
No, just new beginnings, I guess.
Yes, new beginnings. Brittany.
Strength.
Okay, Mike.
Grace.
Okay, and I think mine is going to be Google, because I have a feeling we're going through a lot of stages with the boys, and I think I'm going to need a lot of Dr. Google, Mr. Google, Ms. Google, all the Googles. So real quick, Brittany, do you have your phone handy?
I
don't want us to get cut off, so go ahead and take the picture, please.
Okay, I'm all over this.
Mom's like, don't you dare. I'm hydrated.
It's okay. I'm going to fix my hair first. You're safe.
All right.
Come on. Like I do anything else first. Okay.
All right, everybody.
Exiting out of selfie mode. Okay, ready? Cheese. Chocolate. All done. Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, Mr. Mike, thank you. for going on tonight. We really appreciate it. We've talked in the past couple weeks about upline, and Mike is my direct upline, and so he is here to support. And we can't wait to hear what you got to say. So everybody, please mute.
Sweet. I just want everybody to know I took my my selfie before anybody was ready, so everybody's candid and just the way I like it. All right, so thanks for having me on, guys. I'm very excited. I love seeing you guys just step up. Honestly, that's the best way I can put it. Every one of you, I'm watching you step up in your lives and your businesses, and it's so cool to see. I'm proud of you guys. So first things first, that's what I needed to get out there. It's just how proud I am and how awesome it is to see you guys changing lives. What I'm here for today is to give you guys a little insight on the study that I've been diving into on branding. So really, really enjoying that topic. I have been for the past couple years. So I want to give you guys some ideas. I've got a couple points down, just 3 points that I want to touch on, and I'll keep it super quick. I'll give some value, and I want to give you guys a couple of tools at the end. So I'll pass those to Ashley, and she can put them in you guys on the toolkit on the page. I think you guys have one of those. So I'll pass those your way, Ashley, at the end of the call, and then everybody can jump on and use that. But my 3 points, so we're talking about marketing today. And the number one thing that, the first thing that I started off with when I started thinking about it was clarity. You know, you have to be forward or you're going to be forgotten. You have to be clear or people aren't going to listen to you. You know, our brains are masters of deletion. Our brains are literally wired to help us conserve as much energy as possible. So, and the reason for that is we've got so much information flying at us. You know, your mom, and you got kids running and yelling and doing all the things, and you got commercials trying to sell you things, and you got people trying to tell you things, and just everything is like buying for your attention. So if our brains weren't such masters of deletion, we would lose our minds. We would literally go crazy because we would pay attention to everything. So what's important with this first thing, be clear. You got to be clear because everybody that you're talking to, they're doing exactly that. They're trying to decide, is this person here to help me, or is it a waste of my energy and time? And they make that decision so quick. So being clear about who you are, who you're for, who you're working with, what problem you're solving, that right there, if you can clarify your message with that, you will put yourself ahead of 95% of all the other coaches, anybody else that's out there running a business, building a business. Number one, they're literally conserving energy, and our brains are saying, hey, does this information, is it feeding me? Is it helping me make babies? There's a couple F words. Is it feeding me? Is it fueling me? You know, is it helping me make babies? Is it helping me look better? You know, that's basically what our brains are doing. Marsha's plugging her ears. Earmuffs, guys, cover the baby's ears. I didn't say it though. So what problem do you solve? You've got to get very clear about the problem that you are helping people solve. And as soon as you do that, you're going to start noticing that people are going to come to you more because you're not throwing useless information out. And even if it's important to you, it's not about you. And that's another big thing that leads me to my second point. We're here to guide a hero to their ultimate victory, you know? So we have to start looking at ourselves as guides instead of heroes, which is another thing our brain is wired to do. Our brains want to make us the hero of the story, you know? It's just human nature. We want to be the hero. As coaches, as people building a business, we have to decide to change our wiring, to start thinking of ourselves as the guide, you know, because I did a call like probably a year ago about becoming the Yoda, because that's what Luke Skywalker is looking for. If Luke Skywalker comes to you and you're Luke Skywalker, he's going to be like, oh, cool. Have a great journey. Bye. But if you're Yoda, he's going to like, teach me, help me, you know? So you have to decide to become, I'm glad Brittany's enjoying it. Yes. So you got to choose to become the guide. And let me see. So big mistake. So big mistake number one that a lot of people make is they fail to focus on how they fail to focus on how either your coaching or how our team or our products, we fail to focus on how they're going to help people achieve that ideal victory. Most people fail to do that. If you can really zone in and focus on what we offer, whether it's you as a coach or our team, whatever, if you can focus on how we help people get to that ideal victory, once again, you're going to notice that people are going to start coming to you. They're going to start asking questions. The key is clarity. And I've been reading this book called Story Brand. And one out of any book I've ever recommended, take this one and put it at the top of all of them. Story Brand, it's by Donald Miller. It's incredible. It's teaching you exactly this. Everything that I'm talking about is coming from that book or his podcast. So I wanted to pull up a page. So it says the key is clarity. Always know who the hero is, what the hero wants, who the hero has to defeat to get what they want, what tragic thing will happen if the hero doesn't win, and what wonderful thing will happen if they do. So what do they want? Who is the villain, you know? So as coaches, the villain is the 40 pounds they've got to lose. The villain is a lack of confidence. The villain is not having time, you know, whatever, you know, the story can go on and on and on, but, you know, you have to get clear on who the villain is. And if you can create that villain and start to talk about it more, people are going to be like, yo, I'm struggling. I'm trying to face this villain too. And as soon as you can get somebody to say me too, to that villain that you're creating, they're on your team. Like, they're going to start joining your tribe because you guys can link arms and you can defeat that villain together. So you're inviting people in on this awesome journey to defeat a common enemy is what we're doing as coaches.
Mike,
what's up?
Okay, I gotta interrupt. So I think that was something that we were all struggling with, is telling our story without like making, you know, it seem, because we're so tired of hearing like, oh my God, you're such an inspiration, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like, and that's true. Like, we are talking about all the things that we've overcome. I think it is more important to, like, I like what you're saying, to be, you know, very clear of the demon that we're facing too. You know, I had a girl earlier who's a coach friend who posted a picture of her little one who just vomited all over her, like right before her workout. And she's like, I was going to sweat anyway. I still did the workout, whatever. You know what I mean? So like, I'm sitting there thinking like, my kid's asleep. I've got to go work out now, you know? So like, I think just putting it all out there, you know, I think that's a great point. And that'll help us, you know, out with our challengers as well. Because so often we focus on who's your support system, who's going to help you, but it's good to look at those demons.
Yeah, for sure. And oh my gosh, that's so inspirational. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Those comments are a sign of a hero meeting a hero. It's like, hey, hero, that was awesome. I understand because I'm experiencing the same things. Bye. And that's what's happening. So as soon as you start to change the story that you're telling or how you're telling the story, you start to get questions instead of a comment, you know, instead of a, hey, congratulations, you get, oh my gosh, like how are you helping them do that? Or how did you do that? Can you teach me how to do the same? So that was point number 2, clarity, and that we are, you know, our main goal is to become the guide in how we tell our stories. We're the guide, they're the hero. And the final point that I had was, what's your battle cry? So what's your battle cry? You have to get very clear on what it is you believe in, because there are 3 different kinds of problems. There's the external problem that could be losing weight. There's the internal problem of, man, if I could lose weight, then I could get a date. That's the internal problem. If I lose the weight, external, I can get the date, internal. Getting a date makes me feel good. And then the philosophical. So the philosophical problem is, man, every girl deserves a date. Every girl deserves to go to the prom, to the ball, Cinderella. You know, so you start speaking to those internal problems and to the philosophical problems instead of just the external. So instead of just talking about losing weight, you start talking about the internal. What is the weight doing? What obstacle is that weight creating? What enemy is that weight creating? And as soon as you start speaking to those internal and the philosophical things, that's whenever people are going to really start to buy in. That's when people are going to really start to have those Me Too moments where like, yo, me too. I'm struggling with that too. Like that, she gets me. She gets me. I want to work with her. And that's what's going to make the difference. You know, there are a million Beachbody coaches out there, not a million, but there's a bunch of Beachbody coaches out there, and we all have the same products. We all have awesome things that we can offer people. What people are buying is you. And if you can learn to speak to their problems and really get them saying that me too, and she gets me, that's when they're going to really buy in. That's when they're going to, like we said before, just link arms and run with you. So that battle cry is really speaking to that internal and the philosophical, you know, problem or solution. That battle cry is, you know, I don't know if this is like, I'm a guy, so I think of Braveheart. Raise your hand if you've seen Braveheart. Raise your hand if you cried in Braveheart. So I cried in Braveheart. That's a guy movie that makes us guys cry. And there's one scene whenever he is strapped to that table and they're literally like ripping him limb from limb and, you know, giving him an opportunity to save his life. And, you know, if you will get down and surrender or whatever it was that they wanted him to do, we'll stop torturing you. And all you have to do is say this one word. And his word was freedom. He screamed out freedom at the top of his lungs. That was his battle cry. You know, it's take my life because I will die for that freedom. And I'm going to make myself cry. So you've got to create that battle cry for your tribe, you know, that battle cry that the people that are watching you. And right now, you know, it's the hero saying to the hero, hey, good job. It's that battle cry that unites you guys. And they're like, yo, I want you to be my guide. I want you to be my coach. I want to link arms with you because they hear that battle cry and it stirs up that fire in them. So how do you do that? You have to identify what that ideal coach or ideal customer, you have to identify what they want. What they want. What problems does not having that thing, what does it cause? You know, so I want this thing. What problem does not having it cause? Like we said before, you know, I want to lose 40 pounds so I can get the date because every girl deserves to go on a date and have the knight in shining armor. So identifying that problem basically is the start of your journey. You know, as soon as you can put a problem out there that ignites that, oh, I'm facing that problem, I'm feeling that internal like turmoil, you start a story. You start a story loop is what they call it. You begin a story in that person's mind. And the next question is, how do I get it? So if you can create that problem, you can say, hey, I'm helping people solve that thing. I'm helping people get that thing. You're basically stair-stepping people into wanting to work with you. So identifying the problem starts the journey. Speaking about that problem gets people's attention. Whenever you speak to people's internal problems and that philosophical belief that they have, or maybe that they don't even know that they have, that's whenever you catch their attention. That's whenever they're going to really start listening and they start commenting on your posts and they start sending you the messages and they start opening up and you can really start to work with and guide people. So those are my 3 points and 3 reasons why you guys should go grab that Story Brand book by Donald Miller because it's freaking awesome. It is changing the way I post. It's changing the way I talk about my business, our team. It's changing the way I speak to people. It's changing everything, you know, and that's really what it is because, you know, we don't know what we don't know. So if you don't know that you're speaking about our team, about our businesses in a way that really pushes people away, honestly, then you'll never know. Marsha said, please what, Marsha?
Author. What's the name of the author?
Oh, Donald Miller. And it's called Creating a Story Brand. And you can get it on your iPhone. You can buy it in bookstores, all the places. I got mine on my phone because it's one of those books that you'll want to have close, like and access to really easily all the time. Yeah, so I like to have that on my phone. It's basically like a guide to being awesome and attracting awesome people. My two some tools that I wanted to give you guys, the difference between branding and marketing, because this is something that came up for me. Your brand is that battle cry. Your brand is what you believe in. Your brand is the feeling that you give people. You know, what feeling, what idea, what energy do you want people to get from you when they come to your page or when they meet you in person? What do they feel when they meet you? Who are you to them? That's your brand. Marketing is, what problem do you solve? So marketing is speaking about your products, not in a, oh, we have Beachbody on demand and it's got 60,000 different workouts and blah, blah, blah. And I can tell you all the things about all the things that we offer. And it's great to know those things, but you have to understand that you've got to speak to people in terms of how can I help you survive? Like we talked about earlier, they're going to shut you off. Literally, they'll sit there and listen to you with their ears, like imaginary fingers in their ears, if you don't tell them how you're going to help them save their life. Save their life, save their time, save their energy, make them look sexier because people want to be sexy and want to be accepted and go to the prom.
Who are you marketing to?
I geared it for you guys.
I don't know anybody going to the prom. I'm too old for that.
Love all Cinderella. So branding versus marketing. 3 things that make you mad. I want you guys to write down 1, 2, 3, and then title it, what are 3 things that make me mad? Once you have 3 things on that paper, if you take the opposite of those are going to be, they can be your core values, a beginning of a core values list. If something pisses you off, then the opposite of that is something that you really believe. And like we talked about earlier, those philosophical beliefs, that's one of your beliefs right there. So start thinking about those things that kind of piss you off or kind of irk your nerves, and then think about it more. Why does that make me mad? What do I believe should be or could be? And you can start speaking on those things. And the final thing, Ashley, I've got it's titled MLM Rehab. Honestly, I went through my tools list and I was looking at things that could be useful from a branding perspective. And it was an avatar worksheet. So basically how to start designing your avatar from a branding perspective of, why are they frustrated? What are their struggles? What problem are you solving? That type of deal. So really cool worksheet that I pulled up and I can send to you to share. And we out.
I was laughing, thanks, Mike, because your 3 bad points, you're like, think on them, whatever. I already wrote them down because they're the things that drive me absolutely bonkers. And I'll share with you guys. I wrote down laziness, negativity, and people just being mean. People outright being mean to other people. And so if I flip those, I'm thinking hard work ethic,
yep,
positivity, and kindness. And I think that that's it's legit. I mean, it really is what I just went through, because those are the people those are my tribe. Those are my squad. Those are the people I surround myself with, and the other people drive me. I could not get away from them fast enough.
Yeah.
Those kind of people. And so
the opposites, it's those are the coaches that you want to attract, that you have attracted, hardworking, positive, awesome people. It's cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
Real quick. So yeah.
What questions do we have for Mike? Brittany's got a hand up. Yeah, you guys unmute. What questions do you have?
So patiently. I'm just saying, I feel like I should get a cookie for that. So, one of my
you can get a cookie. It's a treat day.
No, I had my treat day yesterday. The meat lovers pizza and waffle fries. Worth it though. So when you were talking about your battle cry and like thinking of an obstacle, right? You're trying to create this enemy. So for me, I'm trying to figure out what that is. And I noticed that I get a better reaction just in general on Transformation Tuesday if I feature somebody different than myself, right? Because they're like, great, you're in shape now. Yay, happy for you, move along. So I've tried to I try to feature other people and that seems to help. But as far as like just a generic post where it's not a transformation, where it's just something like, I saw Ashley posted, like she wants to go to the park and be active with her kids and stuff like that. But like, I'm trying to think of like a legit problem that I haven't touched on before that would actually, you know what I'm saying? Like that would actually motivate people to be like, oh, well, snap, look at Brittany. I would really like to think of that. And I have no earthly idea where to start for that. Because I mean, we've touched on anxiety, depression, mental health, all of that. Like at least on my page, I've touched on all the things. So I don't know where to go now.
I feel like that list of things that piss you off, or that list, that idea, if you go real deep onto that list, I think you'll find that thing, because you'll find that things should be this way statement. Things could be this way, and whenever you go, things should be, things could be, this is how they could be. That's whenever you start getting people like, yo, things could be that way. Are you serious? Like, tell me more. So that wasn't exactly me answering your question, but it was me giving you a tool to maybe find that. I think it could come from there, from that list.
For more digging.
Think about those things that make you sad. And it could be things that make you sad, things that piss you off, things that make you uncomfortable. That list could be about a lot of different things, and you'll get a lot of different answers from it.
I think too, Britt, step outside of you and look at your team. Look at your mom and her struggles. Look at your brother and Lauren, and look at your coaches. What are they going through? Because you have done the prolapse thing and the anxiety depression thing, and like, but what are other people going through too?
Well, that's kind of why I was touching on the mental health, is because a lot of my challengers, like I had checked in with them, and all of them at one time were like massive anxiety. And I was like, okay, we're going to take a deep breath. Everyone's going to go back and like perspective. But yeah, I see what you guys are saying.
I'm about to start a podcast with a new friend of mine. And that's something that we're starting to do. Just put out those fillers, if I started a podcast, what's something that you would want to learn? What's something that frustrates you that you think should be different? What would you like to learn about? Start putting those fillers out there, and you can ask, on Facebook, now's the perfect time. What time
and even
is it?
Insta stories too.
9:30 or
like
people are on Facebook right now, just scrolling. So ask that question. What's something that pisses you off? People like to talk about what pisses them off.
Yeah, they do.
It's actually really true. I try to keep it super up, like, peppy, but that's a good line.
Yeah.
Right.
What's something that pisses you off? What's something that frustrates you? And see where it goes. And you can start some really cool conversations with that. Why does that make you so mad? Where do you think that comes from? Yeah.
Okay. I kind of like that.
Questions?
I may or may not be doing that at the moment. I really like that.
I mean, she's completely engaged, but
I'm just saying. XOXO.
Yeah, Mom, you unmuted. What's up?
Yeah, you said to unmute, so I did.
Oh, I didn't know if you had anything to say.
No, I'm good today. Thank you.
I think for me too, I think I need to take a look at what I'm putting out there, because right now it's literally like babies and like my comeback story. And I think in putting my comeback story out there, I'm trying to attract all these women that I've met through my pregnancy that are going through the same thing, that are, trying to say like, if I can do it, you can do it. But I think it is a whole lot of like me. And so I need to focus on, I guess more of what I'm learning. Like today, if anybody watched the end of my live, I told Mom, I walked away, and you can see me like, I'm just crying. I'm crying because I worked out so hard, and I was so proud because I haven't done that workout in over a year, and I love it. And I didn't have to pause. I didn't have to do anything like that. But it's like, I don't show that. I'm just like, look at me doing my high knees. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think for me, I need to find those pain points as well. And I think going back to work, I'm going to be a little more relatable to my crowd specifically, because I don't have a lot of people who stay at home. I don't have a lot of people who, are able to, like right now, people, I know that I've got 2 kids at home, but they're probably looking at me like, well, you've got all day, of course, and like, I think that I'm going to squash some of those time misconceptions too when I'm balancing that. I'm just so in awe of Michelle, because she is just up at like 4:30 doing the dang thing and then working all day and momming. And I think we have a lot of great examples in our team to follow. Does anybody have any more questions for Mike? We have 6 minutes.
I will say something. I don't have a question, but you knew I'd talk, Brittany. I got to compete with you, girl. I know with when I first started coaching, and as the years went on, it was like everybody talked about branding, and to me, branding was the definition I took in from it early on was you need to figure out who you are and talk to that person. And that's well and good, except for when those people do not care what you have to say. Like my people, no, I'm trying, Ashley knows, we've had this conversation many times. My people in their 50s, 60s, whatever, they have accepted the fact that they're tired, and it must be because we're getting older, and oh well, we'll just sit here and watch ourselves be more tired every day because we're not going to spend money or do anything physical, and that's the name of that game. And it gets really frustrating because I would try to appeal to them as how much better I feel now than I felt even 10 years ago. That for me, if somebody had said that to me when I was dragging my butt, when I was taking care of mom, I would have latched onto that like crazy. But the people that are listening to me aren't latching on to that. So I had to actually just this last week, I reached out to someone and we were talking, and an upline coach, and she said, Marcia, quit limiting yourself to the people that are your age and the people that were in your situation. So all I wanted to say, I said that to say this: don't limit yourself to just moms of kids. Just don't limit yourself to just busy people that are raising young children right now. There might be someone my age that is touched by your story, or I might be able to reach someone your age that is going through what you are. So don't limit yourself to just a particular area. That's it.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, one extra question.
Yeah.
So I know that one of the things we talk about is your Insta profile, right? And like how the pictures are kind of, they're basically your paycheck, right? So would you go back and like clear stuff out, like rearrange it, delete posts, like reorganize it, if you will? Or would you just leave it and then move forward with that same theme?
I think you could probably get some different answers on that one. I think one person might say if it doesn't fit your brand anymore, if you don't believe in like that post or whatever, if it's gonna turn someone off.
Well, I don't think it would necessarily turn someone off, but almost like meh, bored. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like not intrigue them.
For sure. I think there could be value in that, and then there'd be the other person that would say, don't waste your time. Just keep posting awesome stuff now and do the work now, like post the awesome things, but mainly just do the work. That was one thing. I was listening to Bob Heilig, and he was talking about how a lot of coaches come in, a lot of people bring people in and they tell them, you got to post 6 times a day on social media. You've got to you got to think about your avatar. You've got to, do this exercise and take this training and blah, blah, blah. And I was that person. But when does the work get done? When are you when are you sending the invites? When are you getting the conversations out? That's got to be number one. And everything else falls below that, as far as just building your business goes. Because people, if you're not getting those invites out, if you're not starting those conversations, nobody's looking at your page. Like only your family, only your close friends are coming to your page, unless you're getting those conversations started because those conversations are what bring people to your page. You know, that conversation isn't about selling somebody something. It's about getting enough interest from them that they want to just come check your page out. Like, oh, she's a pretty cool person. She showed interest in me. I'm gonna go show some interest in her. Yeah, I think the work is the most important thing. Once you're making millions, then you can go and delete old pictures that aren't amazing.
All right, guys. So we have about 2 minutes left. I wanted to touch on a couple things. Thank you, Mike. And we can't wait to see those resources. I can put them in the file section on our coaching page, and I'll upload the call as always. Well, I go to work tomorrow. So let's say by 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to have a little grace right now for myself. And let's talk about t-shirts really quick. So Michelle has the design. And I am going to be working, I hope she remembers, I'm going to be working with Brittany on custom ink and figuring out how we can set up ordering for that, but I need the designs first. And so our little beach babe is doing her beach thing this week. She said that she's brought her computer and she's going to work on it, but I'm not going to pressure her to do that. So the design is done. We just need to I'm not even going to pretend I know what the lingo is, but basically put it into a different format so that we can upload it into
Yeah.
Right, to the custom ink designs. We're going to have a t-shirt option and a tank top option. I think we're going to do some different colors too. So there's that. Does anybody have any other announcements? Anything for the group? Go ahead.
Just a thought on shirts. Alex and I were messaging the other morning, and I messaged her and I was like, I need to get a t-shirt that says, shh, I haven't worked out yet, or shh, I haven't had unicorn juice. So I think it might be a cute idea. And then at the bottom, we could do #legit.
I love it.
I can't talk to you
We can
right
definitely
now.
do some other things. And I know we talked about the water bottles too, so we'll get onto that.
I already found them. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So that'll be where we can start off next week. I love you guys.
Okay.
Bye.